Come on in, sit right down. Keep your hands up and keep your chin down. Shut the door. Time to go with Randy Harris and Knockout Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knockout Radio with Randy Harris is about to start. So get ready for the best MMA talk, games, interviews, prizes, and surprises anywhere for Knockout Radio. I'm the voice, Ray Flores, and you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Ray Flores MMA, or facebook.com/Ray Flores MMA. And now, here's Knockout Radio.
Hey, everybody.
What is going on, everybody? It's 6 o'clock on the East, 3 o'clock. Okay, so it's really not.
Yeah, our new start time, 6:14. 6:15.
Give or take. 6:14 and 30 seconds.
It's like we're on TBS back in the day when they had the old 7:05 starts, 8:05 starts.
Well, the WWE went long.
What are you going to do?
They went a little long tonight, so we didn't get on time.
Exactly.
And we do apologize, but kind of a pretty cool, action-packed show. Most of it's going to stem from last Saturday.
Okay.
Anybody's thoughts on last Saturday?
Yeah. I have many thoughts on last Saturday, yeah. You want to lay out the rest of the show, and we'll get back to it?
To be honest, I want to spend the next 16 hours talking about last Saturday.
Yeah? You're all fired up about it?
I am 1,000% fired up about it.
Oh, Vitor says to fight one media member, and now you're fired up.
I am a little pissed about that.
I bet you are.
I'm extremely pissed, but we are going to talk some TRT tonight. We have a TRT expert coming on momentarily. He is board certified. He has been working with TRT and anti-aging for the past 6 years. This guy knows his stuff about TRT.
Okay.
So before, we kind of give our opinion on what happened on last Saturday, I wanted to educate myself and everybody else in the studio as well as across the country on TRT, what it is, what it does, the pros, the cons, the whole 9 yards. So on the line with us right now, the expert, the TRT expert, Dr. David Hirschenhauser. Hey, doctor, how are you, sir? Hello?
Actually, Randy, I was just dialing him up right now.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I was just trying to let you know I got the number.
Do you know about TRT? Do you want to tell us about it?
I do not, Derek.
Oh, okay.
I have not done my research yet on that.
Well, what the hell are you doing back there?
Well, we were doing a 4-hour show about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
Hang on, man. I'm going to get him on the line for you.
We'll get the doctor momentarily.
That's okay. It gives everybody around the world the opportunity to get their notebooks out so they can take notes.
When I saw the got it, I thought that meant got him. And so I just assumed.
You jumped the gun.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
I got to learn
You're
how
all
to.
excited.
Well, I got to learn how to read.
Oh, that helps, too.
I do have to read. A lot of things have come down today. Some fights have been announced.
Oh.
We're going to talk about that. We're also going to have Jeremy Fullerton on from Topps. New product hit the streets today.
Do tell me.
Autograph or memorabilia in every single pack.
Is that right?
It's pretty cool. Guaranteed. I mean, nice. That's what the deal is. I don't know. Are you a card collector? I'm going to take it by that look on your face. No.
I'm not much of a memorabilia collector, period. Did I grow up with basketball, baseball? Yes. Loads and loads of books and boxes and the whole deal. I have since, no. I backed off.
Anybody else?
No. Sorry.
Well, I know you are.
Not cards.
I know you are. You collect anything.
I collect.
For the chase, right?
I do.
That's what
it's the chase.
That's what it's about.
True story.
Yeah.
I went and I bought a computer today. I wasn't going to buy it until he told me I couldn't get the discount. It was the chase. So then I had to get the computer because of the discount.
I guess so.
So
you're wired different.
So it is the chase.
Really is. You're wired different.
So Jeremy Fullerton coming up. Norbert Hudak will not be able to be on tonight. Josh Rafferty is going to come on and talk a little TRT from the athletic standpoint. Mm-hmm. But on the line with us right now, and I kind of gave a little bio on Dr. David Hirschenhauser, but he is on the line with us right now. Doctor, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing great.
Excellent.
Doing awesome.
We appreciate your time. We're going to get into TRT, but kind of what I thought, and that's one reason why I reached out to you, is I want you to kind of let us know and let the nation know what TRT is and what it does.
Well, TRT is testosterone restoration therapy. Testosterone restoration therapy is for males, usually in their early 30s. They start declining in testosterone naturally, and there's really no specific evidence on how this is going on, because obviously males are getting younger and their lower testosterone levels are happening. We're seeing on blood tests. But we've discussed it with numerous colleagues, and we've came to the assumption magnetic fields, chemicals, the hormones in foods these days, this all contributes to the fact for low testosterone levels. And the fact is, whether we see a guy that's 6'4", 285 pounds, or 160 pounds at 6 foot, we really don't know what his testosterone levels are or his hormones in balance. And it's essential to somebody, especially male, because testosterone runs a lot of different functions and helps a lot of different functions in the body.
Okay, and tell us what some of those are. I'm trying to get the pros of TRT as
Sure.
we're discussing TRT in athletics.
The symptoms of low testosterone: decreased energy levels and fatigue, loss of motivation for work and exercise, decreased level of fitness, the effectiveness of their workouts, decline in sexual function, sexual drive, libido, erectile tension, more erections, body composition changes, more fat deposits. Let me give you an example. A patient goes into their primary care physician who really doesn't deal with something like this, and they say, I have a loss in motivation. Things haven't been so good with the wife. My energy levels are down. I feel like I'm in a fog. And the doctor doesn't do that normal, does a normal blood test with the patient, as we would do, but they don't test for testosterone levels or estrogen levels in their body. So at that point, they don't really know. So when they come back and the blood panels, everything's fine, cholesterol checks out fine, liver checks out fine, kidneys, everything's okay. So, let's throw, you on an antidepressant, a Celexa, Viagra for erectile dysfunction, cholesterol medicine. People don't know that, type 2 diabetes, cannot actually be prevented with testosterone. Things like this. So they just put Band-Aids over a gaping wound instead of looking for the real problem. And that could be low testosterone.
Now, as far as it goes, I don't know how up to speed you are with this talk in the MMA world right now. It's big, and a lot of what people are saying is that people who are getting this TRT exemption are former steroid users. Are you seeing is that really kind of where this, as far as athletics goes, is this where this is being practiced? Is guys who've been on steroids? Their hormones and their testosterone is thrown off from years of I'll say abusing steroids, and now they're getting almost their levels back with this TRT.
The fact about it is that wherever you are, if you inject testosterone, take it orally, it shuts down natural production in your body. So with abuse over time, it's like anything else. Your natural levels don't come back to where they were. Overaging, detriment to the body, of course. Their levels are going to be very low. The quality of life is not going to be where it should be, and that's why the restoration helps with them. Now, is this testosterone therapy for average day Joe? Yes. The average day Joe doesn't feel that quality of life. The best example I can give is you get a brand new car, you drive it for 6 years. That car still feels great to you until you get into a brand new one. Then you can really feel how that quality is. That's the best way to describe it. In the MMA world, yes, for these old athletes, it does help them. But it will help the average day guy that's aging feel better, feel younger, help him with his relationship with his wife or girlfriend possibly. The benefits, cardiovascular, it goes on and on.
Doctor, let me cut you off real quick. Let me ask you, why isn't this then just standard practice? If this is, it just makes your life better as you get older. Because a lot of these symptoms, to me, I'm listening, I'm like, at what point do you chalk up that's called getting old? It's an aging process. Why isn't TRT and these things, things that delay the fatigue, the stuff where people say getting old sucks? If it delays that, why isn't this just everyday practice, when you go in at 30, at 31, why aren't doctors checking for TRT and this part of your regular yearly physical?
It's funny you say that, and it's just the funny thing I say is when I watch TV when I get home after surgery, I turn it on, and basically I see low T commercials left and right. The pharmaceutical companies know just as well as we know that a lot of men are dealing with this. I've actually have some patients that came out of the Army, and they were dealing with radioactive chemicals. He's a 20-year-old male, and he had very, very low deficient testosterone levels. These are things that should be, and a lot of doctors haven't practiced it. They haven't went outside the scope to see, and they don't run these blood tests because they don't want to open a can of worms possibly. They don't want to have to treat this. They might not know the practices, the protocols. This is a lot of, I wouldn't say cutting edge, but it's been around for years, and now people are starting to see the light because when we treat our patients here at Type Medical or wherever, you want to have their quality of life be better over a longer period of time. And if the pros outweigh the cons, and they do in this circumstance, why not have a better quality of life and live a little bit longer? Mm-hmm. That's really when it comes into play.
Doctor, let me ask you this, and I like everything that you're saying for the everyday person. I'm in my 50s. I have all those symptoms. Yeah, it sounds interesting. But in your professional opinion, give me your thoughts on an athlete using TRT.
If it's an athlete that is being monitored by a physician, and he has, the symptoms, and it shows in a blood result test that he is deficient, I think that monitoring him, making him do blood tests, and following up with him on how the therapy is going, and him not going to extreme levels, is him just getting back to where he normally should be. I don't think it gives him any performance-enhancing things as far as that goes than a normal guy that he can do. Now, if he's abusing it and, his levels are through the roof and he's taking all these performance-enhancing drugs, then yes, I do think that it's a conflict of interest to a certain extent.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off, Randy. What about long-term effects? This is new to, I would say, the average sports fan. The TRT for at least MMA fans is, this is just becoming common vernacular. What about, do we know long-term effects of it? Because I know personally, my father was dealing with prostate cancer, and they had to kill his testosterone. He was almost producing too much. They said it was feeding some of the cancer. Have they looked into long-term effects? Has it even been around that long to really be able to know?
They have looked into long-term effects, and there are researches and studies out there. And actually, I was just at the A4M, the American Academy of Anti-Aging conference just recently, and they did bring up about the prostate. Last study of the prostate cancer, as far as this goes with testosterone, was 1945. There hasn't been any studies to document prostate cancer going positive or negative as far as testosterone goes. Long-term effects, I think, like I said, the beneficial of the quality of life will go up. We haven't seen anything in long-term effects with the patients. As far as that goes, that's why it's essential to keep up on their blood. A lot of these testosterone clinics out there are not being compliant and following up with their patients and making sure their patients' health is the first priority. They're not just a number. They're there for their health. And I think that just alone covers what we need to do with our patients. Long-term effect, I don't see anything negative. As far as it's a light dosage and it's monitored by us physicians, then I think everything's okay. Then we can keep a handle on it. It'd be like you taking cholesterol medicine for the rest of your life. Sometimes you have to tweak it out, but when you get on the right dosage, everything's working correctly in conjunction.
Doctor, let me ask you this in closing, and we certainly do appreciate your time. Joe Public in the Tampa Bay area decides, they want to look into this. They come to the Titan Medical Center. Then what happens? Go through the process with us.
Sure. What would happen is basically they would come in, they would do an intake. We would get some information about them. We'd ask them some questions. Have you been feeling tired? Have you fatigued? Low concentration levels? How's your libido been? And such. After that, then they would definitely talk to a licensed practitioner nurse, and then at that point, the doctor would prescribe a blood test for them. They would go into any lab corp, and we actually have patients that fly into here. We actually give them the LabCorp confirmation. They go right in, get their blood drawn. We get their results back. We contact the patient within 72 hours. The nurse actually schedules in the patient for a time. They come in to see the doctor. The doctor will then go over the blood results with them. If there's medication that needs to be prescribed, the doctor will then prescribe the medication to them, and then they can go pick it up from the pharmacy or drop ship directly to their home.
Sounds good. Doctor, sir, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Thank you for letting me come on your show. I appreciate it. Titan Medical Center, 727-389-3220. I appreciate it.
There you have
Awesome.
it. Good
Thank
enough.
you, doctor.
If you want to pick up the phone, give us a call, 855-483-6646.
Why are you waving your arm
for the
anymore?
Ultimate Fighting Championship at the UFC Fan Expo, presented by Fox Sports 1 on Friday and Saturday, July 5th and 6th at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. Meet your favorite fighters and industry icons. Attend special Q&A sessions and keynote addresses. Train with legends of the sport. Participate in grappling and fitness challenges, and so much more. UFC Fan Expo, presented by Fox Sports 1 in Las Vegas, July 5th and 6th. The ultimate fan experience. Tickets and exhibitor space available now at UFCFanExpo.com.
We ready? We're good?
You good now?
Listen, I don't know what you did all day. All right, I don't. But crazy thing. You know, maybe a little heads up that, hey, after our first guest, boom, we're hitting a commercial instead of.
Didn't we do it last week?
He wasn't here last week.
No, I know.
Oh, is that standard procedure? Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, that's going to be standard from now on.
Emails, text. You want to let me know? A little heads up. Not.
I thought the wave was.
Oh, you just thought waving two hands in the air would communicate. Hey, when the guest is coming, commercial. That's on me.
Okay.
That's universal sign for.
That's universal
commercial.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, my bad.
Universal.
I stepped all over that one.
I will. Well, and that's why I specifically put the UFC spot, because I knew if it was the Bruce Buffer spot, you would have done that on purpose.
Yeah. Well, let me know. Again, a little heads up. I'm not asking for much. Just maybe, hey, after guest A, we're going to do a commercial break. Yeah, what happens a lot of times in professional shows is they do a rundown, of guest.
What's that?
Commercial. Some speaking
we
points.
We can't start on time.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone a rundown.
Exactly.
I know I'm asking for a lot here.
Yes,
I
you
know.
are.
I'm asking for too much.
All right, next Wednesday, we will have a pre-show meeting at 4:20.
Light one up.
I won't be here.
I'm sorry.
We got something on the board there.
Derek's got me cracking up over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Randy.
I'm getting all sorts of emails. All right, now that we've had the doctor on, who is a TRT guy.
Right.
Okay, that's his business, and he stands behind what he's doing. I'm going to say the things that I felt Saturday night. Okay, I don't necessarily have a problem with Vitor Belfort or anybody else that's taking a legal substance. And if they are saying, the commission is saying, you can take it, then you can take it. My problem is if you're taking it legally, why are you hiding? Why are you not talking about it? Why are you not, instead of running and saying, no, I don't want to talk about it, or saying, can somebody beat that guy up for asking the question? My thing is, when you hide, you're hiding from something.
Right.
You're legally taking this. The commission, as long as you tell the commission your levels are this and that. And again, even though the doctor was just on, I still don't know enough about it. All I'm saying is if you're legally taking it, which Vitor Belfort is, which other athletes in MMA are taking it because they have the doctor's note, then why, I'm not talking about it. Dude, you're taking it.
We can see what's going on.
I found the funniest comment in the week. The funniest thing that I heard all week was Vitor Belfort saying, this is the strongest I've ever felt. Yeah, no shit.
No kidding.
How about the one that says he trains and fights honestly, but doesn't answer questions?
And he's talking about how he's getting better with age.
Yeah. He is getting better with age. He is. Because he's taking a substance that it's allowing him to get better with age. Now, with that said...
Now, am I an ass for saying that TRT didn't hit that technique?
I was just going to say that. No, I was just going to say that. For anybody to say that TRT helped on the kick is wrong. But it helped him train to throw the kick. It helped him not feel 36 or 38 years old, to feel 25 so he can go to the gym when his body's feeling 38. That's the things that TRT is doing. And I find it unfair, even though it's legal, I find it unfair for a 38-year-old to fight a 20-something-year-old on equal footing, because you're not on equal footing. You've been on this earth 15 years more, 10 years more, 18 years more. That's where I have a problem with it. If it's legal, talk about it. You know, if I was legally doing it and I'm okay with it, I would say, yeah, I'm on it. This shit works.
Right.
This shit makes me blah, blah, blah. And it's legal because here's my...
Well, it's like Dana going over to Germany and getting his ear surgery that isn't legal here in the States. He's getting his blood drawn and doing all the stuff that Kobe's done over there, that A-Rod's done over there. And he's come back and he said, this shit works. This has changed my life. And he can do it over there. You know, and he's admitting, yeah, this is the medical stuff I'm using. You know, the Vitor situation, it almost reminds me of, you know, Barry Bonds and the Mark McGwire situation, where you're just looking at them and they are so defiant in saying that no. And I've always been one to say that, you know, the steroids didn't help them, you know, hit a curveball. It didn't, but I will say this, it helped them train longer and it helped them recover quicker and they weren't as tired. And if you add those things up, then you could say, yes, it does help, you know, and that's what this reminds me of, you know, and is there a reason that Vitor keeps fighting in Brazil? You know, that was the big thing, you know, on Twitter after this fight was like, well, is he even going to be cleared in Vegas to fight?
I reached out, and I'll get more information tomorrow. I reached out to some people in Nevada, in the medical profession, in the know, but not necessarily, you know, hands-on, and they said they didn't know anything about that. You know, so I know there's been a lot of talk about will he be able to get licensed, this, that, the other. You know, and here's the other thing. From the promotion standpoint, it's not their problem.
No.
It's not. No, it's not any. It's right.
It's on the commission.
And if the commission is allowing it, then it's not up to the UFC, the RFC, the XFC, the LMNOP. It's not their concern. They're the promotion. They're not the commission. They're not the ones that are supposed to be, you know, the cop and guard.
And that's why I always laugh when I see these comments and these people throwing these barbs. I always just shrug my shoulders and say, he's been cleared to fight. You know, I mean, it's not the UFC protecting him to slide him in. It's not. He's been cleared. I mean, all you can do at that point is shrug your shoulders and say they allowed him on the playing field. It's legal. There's nothing else you can do.
And go.
You're right.
Go in, close the cage, do your thing. Up to that point.
With all of that said, and I know you give me shit about everything I say and everything I do and all the things that bother me.
Right.
When Vitor Belfort in Brazil, it's bad enough if he would have done it anywhere else. I've been in Brazil. I've felt threatened in Brazil. And for
you get a gun pulled on you. You think
one
you're
time,
threatened.
right?
Yeah.
You have 4 guns pulled on you, and now you feel like you've been in a bad situation. You know, for Vitor Belfort to say, can somebody beat him up?
Yeah.
If I was John Morgan, and John said that the regular, I think he said the regular Brazilian media were okay, but you could hear the snickers, you could hear the clapping, and I think I've told you guys, when I went to the first Rio card, I honestly felt threatened in the arena. The Brazilian media to the American media to, you know, everything that was being thrown around. So I'll talk to John Morgan tomorrow, but I was surprised, B, surprised that there's nothing come out of Zuffa. If Zuffa is going to fine people for saying stuff, right or wrong, you know, the gay comment or the Fallon Fox comment, I think this is worse.
I mean, they're definitely going to have a talk with him. I don't think they suspend him or they fine him.
They should fine him. And again, you can fine him, and we know David Price just got fined $1,000 for sending a tweet. What's $1,000 to a millionaire?
Yeah,
it's the point that you fined him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's a joke to fine him $1,000. But you can't wash your hands of this because it's Vitor Belfort. You can't wash your hands of it because it's not big. This is big. He threatened. Do you know that he could have been arrested in this country for doing that?
No, he wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have. He could have been.
I could have gotten arrested for crossing the street, not at a crosswalk.
I understand
it's
that.
not that big a deal. It's a dick move.
Well, it's definitely a dick move.
It's a dick move. That's all. I mean, and for people to make it more than that is crazy.
But again, I'm taking it to the next level because of where it was as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely different standards, and how foreign media act is different than how most people act. I mean, you've been to the press box at soccer games, here in the States, and I think the USA Costa Rica game was here in Tampa years ago, and in the press box, and I mean, the Costa Rica guys are up yelling, slapping five at goal. I mean, it's a different culture, it's a different approach. So I understand the issues where if he says, could someone beat that guy up, and they feel threatened about it. It was a dick move by Vitor. But his whole approach to this TRT and how he's handled himself, it's pretty consistent. He's been a dick. I mean, like I said, it reminds me of the Bonds and the McGuire thing. They're so defiant, and that it's laughable.
But don't you think that if he did address it, that then it would go away? If he came out and said, yeah, I'm taking it, and these are the reasons. My level's down. I want to, even if he's going to be full of crap, sex with my wife hasn't been good. I've been fatigued. We all can assume. I'm going to assume what I want to assume, but at least he's addressing the fact that, yes, I'm doing it.
Right.
Yes, it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
I have permission. I've dotted every I. I've crossed every T. What do you want from me?
Face it head on.
And then it's over.
Right. Be a man about it, face it head on. And I feel like, you could take the role of almost spokesperson for it and say, and again, put it back on the commission and say, there isn't an issue with the commission here, guys. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? My testosterone is low. I feel fatigued. I feel, and someone might come back and say exactly what I did to the interview with Doctor. Isn't that just getting old?
Right.
And
it is.
And it is. And you volley it back and say, but I'm not doing anything illegal.
That's the key.
We all agree that getting old sucks. I don't want to get old. I'm trying not to, gang. And until the commission says, okay, it's that or fight, then I'll be put in that corner to make the decision. But, you media member, you Twitter universe, you don't get to put me in that spot and make me,
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
He's not doing anything illegal. He's doing everything under the commission's rules. He's making sure, he gets tested, all of those things. So and I dislike it. I don't think it should be legal. I don't think it's fair to feel younger. That's the whole thing about the fight game. The younger guy fighting the more experienced older guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like TRT. I'm against TRT in the sport, but it's legal. And so I have no say in it. Yeah. I have a say when it looks like you're hiding something.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Your managing of the situation
and
is terrible.
Then if John Morgan or Ariel Helwani or Damon Martin or Ken Maycall at the guys at MMA Weekly or me or somebody brings it up, then Vitor says, I've answered this 6 times. How many times do I need to address it? He hasn't addressed it. He's not doing anything illegal, and that's the kind of thing that bothers me.
I can't disagree. I mean, when it gets cleared by the commission, I find it laughable when I see him in the ring, and Sean just pulled up a picture of him, side by side from 5 years ago to what he weighed in on Friday. It's laughable. It's a joke.
Before we go to Terry, I asked a doctor yesterday. Again, I don't pretend to know anything in this medical field. I had to correct you before you guys jumped in. And I asked him, what is the difference between steroids and TRT? And this is a very well-known doctor who said, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's legal.
And again, that's why I was asking about the long-term effects, because I think ultimately that's what...
And there is some things that I was told yesterday.
And that's really, I think, what put the smackdown on the steroids. Was the long-term effects. And even short-term. The enlarging of the heart, just those different things killed it.
And real quickly, and then we'll go talk to Terry. We haven't talked to him in a long time. When they started the eye surgeries, LASIK surgeries, that was the question that was always brought up as well. What's long-term effect?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. It was so early in LASIK. It was so early in the TRT. But Terry wants to get in on the TRT talk. Terry, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Not
good, Terry.
Awesome.
What's up?
Hey, listen, have they ever said what his levels are now?
I don't think they've come out with it.
I don't think the HIPAA laws allow that. I don't think you're allowed.
The reason I ask is I'm 40 and I've been on TRT for 8 years now, and my levels were down in the 140s, and I felt like I was dead. Now my doctors only bring me up to what the normal levels are because my body doesn't make it. So if they are just bringing them up to normal levels, it made me feel human again. If they're bringing them up higher, but the guys that use steroids are running levels of 3,000, 4,000. They're supposed to be bringing you up in the 550 range. So I'm just curious as to if they have a maximum they're allowed to go to, because if they're only bringing their body back up to what the doctors recommend, it really shouldn't be doing that much for them.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure regarding levels, they just have to get them underneath the TE ratio.
They need to be at that level when he's tested.
Right.
And that's what I was told yesterday. Your level, as you know, Terry, your level can be something at 7 a.m, and it can become fight time 3 times that.
Well, honestly, the half-life of them is about 7 days. So really about 3.5 days you could get your levels boosted up high, and then they start to drop off. But you're not going to train and be, you could train and run yourself up extremely high and then bring it back down for the day of the fight, and then again, that would help you with your training. But when you take a shot of testosterone, the half-life is about a week. So it doesn't change that much in that little bit unless they're using, anabolic steroids.
And I think the big thing, that especially that Dana came out and was putting his foot down, he was finding out, the guys, when they were training, the levels were ridiculously high. And then they'd time it and they'd bring it down, before the week.
And don't kid yourself. That's what's being done by some fighters.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And again, if they're going to allow this and they're going to allow you, again, if it's a medical reason that you have to take it, then they ought to monitor them more so that when they are training for the 3 months leading up to it, they don't have a level of 10,000 or 7,000 and then bring it down to 550 for fight day.
And I think one of the issues that has come up with testing when people are not, and thank you very much, Terry, for the call. One of the big issues with that is the cost of the testing when guys are not necessarily going to be training for a specific fight or just that's been the biggest thing that I've heard is just money.
And who would be responsible for the test?
Yeah.
Is it the fighter? Is it, and again, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be the promotion.
Right.
It's not the promotion's problem.
Right.
It's not the
promotion's problem. Right. It's the promotion's problem is to sell the fight, put the fighters out there. It's not to test them. It's the commission that tests them. So, and nobody wants to step up and nobody wants to pay for it. It's just, again, it's legal. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can use it. But I think anybody would be naive to think that fighters are not taking advantage of the fact that it's legal to use.
And I'll say this. Vitor's not the only one.
Oh, of course not.
Vitor, right now, he's just kind of the poster boy. I feel like.
For the moment, at least, until the next one comes up.
You're right. But I kind of feel like he's the poster boy. But this, don't kid yourself. This is more than a Vitor problem.
I'll find out tomorrow when I speak to some people in Las Vegas who are involved in the mixed martial arts world. And,
that'll be good.
And know about the TRT. They know the fighters that are taking it. But is that stuff out? You know what I'm saying? You fill out the paperwork, you turn it in, you do the check mark, yes, you're on it.
Right.
Isn't that kept in-house? There's only 3 people at Zuffa, 5 people at Zuffa that know that. I'm sure that's not something that gets out.
Right. Dan Henderson, I believe, was one who came out, talked about it, that he, I don't know if he actively does it. And again, I don't even know the wording. Does he do it? Does that mean it's actively? Is it prescribed? Yeah, There's a lot of parameters and rules that need to be set and put in place.
But don't you guys agree? Yes, it's legal. We all understand that. But the fact that it makes a 38-year-old fighter feel 25 shouldn't be legal.
Yeah,
he's not 25.
Well, hey, that's and that's my argument when it always gets brought up about the marijuana. People are like, well, it's marijuana. All it does is,
Did you hear the marijuana story, though?
Hell out. Which one?
Your boys from the ABC.
ABC.
Isn't that the boxing people that we had?
American Boxing Commission?
Yeah.
They're the ones that do all the judging.
The guy who didn't watch
exactly.
the Pacquiao-Tim Bradley fight.
Yeah. I saw something online that they're considering new marijuana standards.
Oh yeah, they're gonna update it.
I don't think they're going to be doing what you think they're going to be doing, though.
What do you mean?
Because they're upping it from. They're actually allowing up to 10 times more marijuana metabolites, theoretically speaking.
So they're getting looser with the...
Yes, because if they follow the... Right now they're saying they're going to follow WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, because they increased their marijuana threshold. The current threshold is 15 nanograms per milliliter. They're going to up it to 150, and they're going to discuss all of this at their annual meeting in August.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But, like, when that's brought up and people are like, oh, you get high and you hang out and it chills you out or whatever.
Twinkies.
Right. No, like, for some people, that increases their focus.
Absolutely. We talked about it with Nick Diaz.
Right. Increased focus means you're in the gym longer.
You're training better.
You're training longer. You're training harder. Like, that means it's helping you. That means it's performance enhancing, right?
But and I've said that. And then you've brought up, Sean, that isn't taking Advil, isn't taking anything a performance enhancing, and it is, because it's enhancing you getting back in the gym.
Because if you're sore
and
it shuts it down.
You're taking a painkiller, it hurts, but you're still going to go back in the gym because you can't feel it now.
Right.
You're going to train.
And numbed it.
Yeah, everything. You can look at anything and everything as a
water
performance. There you go. Gatorade.
Yeah. Now,
why did they create that? Because people were sluggish in the fourth quarter.
There you go.
You take this stuff and you feel better, right?
That's what the commercial told me.
That's what they say.
So it's going to be interesting how this plays out, where it goes from here. Will more fighters come out and say that they're on it? Will more fighters take it? I know I saw an interview with Rich Franklin who said, he's read into it, but as of this point, it's not something that he foresees. But again, why not? It's legal. It'll make Rich feel 22.
Yeah.
I think it's more of and
not just Rich, anybody.
That personal choice, though.
Right. Well, and that's the case with Rich.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to say that you're a fighter of integrity and you are a purist?
Hold on a second. There's two different words, two different things you said.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm just saying.
Correct me.
No, integrity.
Mm-hmm.
If it's legal, then there's no integrity question.
If you are sticking to the nature and the spirit of the sport.
But if it's legal, there is no, in my opinion, there is no integrity question, because you're not doing something against the rules. As long as you're within the rules.
For your health.
Let me ask you this, Randy, and I don't know if you know this or not, but
probably not.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Does the UFC have a list of supplements that are cleared by them?
Yes,
they do.
Yes.
Okay.
I think pretty much all professional sports do.
I know the NFL, you have to. And does this get incorporated into that kind of...
From what I've been told, the athletes are well aware of everything. They're well aware of what they can take, what they can't take, when they should stop smoking marijuana, all right, dude, you're 27 days out. Today's your last day. These guys know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, Zuffa and, I'm sure the other organizations do it as well. They're protecting their investment and just saying, you're going to be tested. You've been in the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL, those guys know when they're being tested.
A lot of them do, yeah.
Of course, not everyone,
yeah.
but most do. They know
and
2 weeks from next Monday.
Well, and a lot of times, if you haven't been caught before, you get tested one time. So you pass that one,
right.
Guess
good.
what? You're good. They can't come back and test you. It's when you fail one, then they have open season to, put your name on the board when you walk in to go pee in a cup. But if you pass that one,
you're good.
You're good.
And I just had issue with you, Alex, just saying integrity. And I'm against it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying I don't think Vitor or anybody else who's on it, is doing anything with their integrity if it's legal. Well, if it's within the commission, their integrity's intact.
Well, and I guess it comes
their
down
personal decision,
just to interpretation. Because in my opinion, for them to stay true to the integrity of the game, they would also have to stay true to the spirit of the sport. And yes, it's legal. Not saying it's not. Not saying it's not okay to do it. I'm just saying that when the sport was first created, TRT was not around.
But I mean, you got to keep up with the times at the same point. You can't always. When football was created, they didn't have helmets. You know, you speed up with the times. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I mean,
ankle wraps. Wearing that in the cage, that gives you a competitive advantage.
Alex, let me ask you a question. Okay. And all three of you and you know the 16,000 people that are listening are all going to give me crap about this analogy that it's awful. But your integrity is pretty good, right?
Yes.
Okay. No, I mean, I think it is. I think it is. Have you ever stole a sign in baseball?
I have not successfully done it.
You've tried.
I tried to get on TRT. I went to the wrong damn doctor.
They said no.
He gave me some goddamn Benadryl.
Botox. I got Botox instead.
Got a great set of tits out of the deal.
I'm just saying integrity is what it is.
Right.
And I can't believe that I'm now defending it, but as long as the commission's allowing it, I don't have any problems with the integrity of any athlete taking it. It's legal.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're not hiding anything. Well, you are hiding it because you're not talking about it. That's my issue. So I know that we've spent 40-some minutes on it, but it's only going to get more interesting.
I couldn't believe when that main event started on Saturday to the time it ended to the next morning. I mean, I don't know how many tweets I saw that all had the TRT letters, connected with it, and it was just like, that's the talk.
And again, I think if Vitor was to just come out and say, as they did kind of, because they asked Luke about it, and he's like, hey, that certainly didn't help him on the kick.
Right.
Which it didn't. You just address it. You know what? My levels are low. My health is important. I'm being monitored. I don't know what else you want. Go away. It didn't. It don't. Right now it's over.
Yeah.
And now move on. And it is a subject, at least to me, because I think people are hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, because it's lit. What could you hide? Why would you want to hide? But
it's a pride thing. You don't want to think that that's what's helping you. You want to think it's your hard work. You want to think it's, your teammates around you, the game plan you put in. You don't want everyone to, pin your success on some substance that is given to you.
When somebody says,
and that's kind of what I always say that too about the steroids and things like that, and like TRT and supplements. You could take all the supplements and stuff in the world. You still have to hit the gym.
Absolutely.
When people are always like, that guy's a roid head. And it's like, yeah, you know what? He might be. But you don't just put steroids in and then the muscles are growing like crazy. Like, you still have to put in the work.
But by taking certain substances, it allows you to go into the gym, get back in the gym when you don't want to, when you don't feel like you can, when you don't, you're tired. Taking TRT increases, muscle strength, which enables you, to lift more weights, which enables you to do more rounds, which enables you to do different things. And also, since we did talk about it, some of the side effects, it can cause liver failure. That enough is enough.
Are you saying TRT or
TRT?
Steroids
really,
in general?
Well, TRT, but I would assume both. Because, again, the question, I think I already mentioned it, when I asked what's the difference between TRT and steroids, I was told by a medical doctor yesterday, nothing.
Well, yes,
here's the one other key one, and then of the list of 16, 17 things, including, liver failure and rage, the one that kind of sticks out to me is sudden death.
Yeah, that would kind of...
that one just, that's kind of the catch-all. You just might go, man. I don't know what to tell you. You just might pass out.
I will say a difference between steroids and TRT. TRT, the testosterone is naturally occurring in the body. Steroids, pretty much for the most part, they're all synthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where, especially when you're talking about liver, because your liver's having to filter out everything you're putting in, that's where you get into a lot of issues there. But technically, testosterone is naturally occurring.
With all that said, when I say Vitor Belfort, I think the next response should be, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because that fight was unreal. The kick was unreal.
He tried it earlier in the round. He threw kind of a spinning kick, and I was sitting on the couch, and I laughed to myself. I'm like, why are you trying that? Like, to me, it was almost like a stretch routine, if anything. Like, all right, I'm gonna throw this spinning kick to just make sure my legs are there. That I'm stretched, I'm loose, I'm ready to go. And I'll be damned. He threw it again and caught it picture perfect.
Since you were not on last week,
no, I wasn't.
Who did you pick to win that fight?
I thought that it was going to be Vitor by decision. I thought Rockhold would have to knock him out to win. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to win a decision. But I didn't see that happening. No, not at all. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and you still sit back and let's just don't stay on him. How about Jacare?
Yeah.
And our
Camozzi,
good friend Chris Camozzi, you do have something to lose.
And you lost bad. Now, he was outclassed.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to say, I have nothing to lose. You go out there, you put on a war, you drop. He was outclassed. I mean, we like Chris, obviously, on the show. He gives us, an interview whenever we want him. He was made to look like a B-level fighter in that fight. Jacare destroyed him. I mean, the technique on that choke was ridiculous. And it was really effortless.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, Sean, you can pull it up where I put Jacare in the rankings when I did them Saturday night, but
he shoots right up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I have him pretty, I believe I have him pretty high. At least I hope I do. I'm sure you'll correct me when we come back after this break.
As long as the computer worked when you did it.
I tried to fix everything because I'm telling you, I don't know, there's a little mouse in there, but... All right, we're going to hit our top of the hour break. The Dweez coming up. Jeremy Fullerton from Tops, and we have some cool stuff to give away from him. We'll be doing that. Then we're also going to reach out to Josh Rafferty, Ultimate Fighter Season 1. So we'll talk to him. He was in studio last time with Batista. Whole lot more. Second hour coming up next. All right, we are back. First hour down. TRT now done.
First 45 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, our first hour's done. We were only on the air 45 minutes.
That's what I mean. Thank you.
But... the little TRT talk is now over.
Good.
Coming up, a little card collecting. Jeremy Fullerton coming on. I'm looking at some of the UFC knockout cards, autograph cards, relic cards, glove cards, all that kind of stuff. So we will talk to Jeremy. Going to hunt down Josh Rafferty. We still need to get Aaron Riley on, as he has a fight coming up end of July, the end of July. All right, some things that happened today. I don't know if you guys got a chance. Matt Serra retired.
Yeah, I saw that.
Officially hung him up, huh?
No more. Well, it wasn't.
Bad day to retire. Only Brian Urlacher can retire today.
He really didn't want to, though. It's understandable, though.
What's he going to do? He's going to fight? They're going to sign him up for a fight, Sarah?
No, he's done. I would say.
I understand what you're saying.
I would say they.
Let's say he doesn't retire. I mean,
he's pretty much done. Yeah. But he didn't want to. Although, is it something that you think was it already too late to try to do something again anyway?
To try like a comeback now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I felt like it was. Pretty much when him and Hughes were riding it out.
Let's be honest. I think 99.5% of the public is going to say, I thought it was when he went to the TV show and won tough and went and fought GSP. He had his run. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm saying the fans' thoughts were,
this guy's done.
He's done. That's what the show was.
The show was like the last chance or the comeback or whatever.
I think it was the comeback.
Yeah.
And really,
don't call it a comeback.
No, don't call it that.
Who is it, for anybody to say, it's time for Matt Hughes, it's time for Matt Serra? It's up to them.
It really is.
I look at it, personally, if you're an elite, if you're one of those top 5 guys, yeah, you could hurt a legacy fighting a little longer. Matt Hughes, did he hurt himself? By the way, he's going to go out Chuck. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, the killer Chuck Liddell, towards the end of his career. But if you're not an A-plus guy, you're not hurting anything.
We go back and forth on this a lot, you and I, because I know that's where you stand on it. I'm on the other side of the fence. And I do understand it's their living. I'm not the guy to tell them that you can't go out and earn $250,000 on a night or $150,000, whatever.
$25,000.
Yeah, to make money fighting, if someone's willing to pay you, yes. As a fan, though, there is some of that. Like I said it about the axe murder. I remember. I'm always like, why? Why are you?
And he's one of the guys I do want.
I know. And then he shuts me up his last time out against Brian Stan, and I'm glad to see guys go out like
on top.
I mean, not even on top, but respectable.
Sure.
There are times when I still look at Rich Franklin like, well, where are you going? Like, I want what's your future? Are you just doing a series of one-offs? Because I have a hard time getting behind that. Is just a fan. I hope that everyone's working towards a title. We're trying to get back in line for a title shot. Some guys just are fine taking fights here and there.
But how many guys can we name? Go to UFC.com and look at all the fighters on that card, on their list, on their stable of fighters. And how many of those guys do you honestly think have title shots? Now, next week, next month, next year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's limited.
Well, they feel they do.
I don't think so. Come on.
Otherwise, a lot of guys wouldn't be there in the first place.
I'm glad that Sarah let it go. There's not a fight out there for him. You're looking at some of these divisions, and here's the thing, though. Like you said, how many guys have title shots? There's a lot of stacked divisions, though. Where an older guy like Sarah isn't. It might take him 3 years to get there, going through people.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you were to look at the top 20, I don't care what division you give me, number 18 isn't going to get a title shot anytime soon, if ever.
Right.
But
as a younger fighter and, trying to, build up and make that money versus a guy like Sarah, is Sarah fighting one of those guys in 18? Ranked guy. Is Sarah fighting that? Is he getting up for that fight? Do you know what I'm saying?
Not even that high. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll talk more about that. I also want to talk about another fight that was announced for Boston. But very special time. I love when new products hit the streets. I love when new MMA/UFC products hit the streets. So on the line with us right now, as he has done numerous times from Tops, Jeremy Fullerton. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on.
We appreciate your time. It's been way too long, so let's talk about the brand new product that just hit, UFC Knockout. I like the name, by the way, Knockout.
Yeah, it's very apropos that I'm speaking about this product today on this show.
Absolutely.
It's one of our perennial all-stars in our UFC portfolio. Everybody really loves it. Every pack has that hit that we call, it's an autograph card or a memorabilia card per pack. So you're guaranteed to get something really special in every pack. Got autographs, memorabilia cards, cards with both memorabilia and autographs on them. Plus we have the fistograph cards, which have fist prints of some fighters. So lots of excitement in every pack for sure.
To talk about, from a collector's standpoint, I'm on the website, I'm looking at it. Some's in gold, some's in green. I know that there's that big GSP card where he signed in red, and there's so many different things to kind of search out for.
Sure. A lot of these cards will have parallels, so it's a card that's printed to a shorter print run. It could be to only 188, 88, 8. We have cards that are one of one, so it's like you have the only card in existence that looks like that stuff number to, 10, 25. A lot of these cards, you'll see them foil stamped with that number on it. So it could be like, this is card 5 of 10. So there's only 9 others out there. So those are the real valuable ones, the ones to hold on to and keep in your collection or trade for something that you like even more.
Now, with so many autograph cards, with so many memorabilia cards, one in each pack, like you said, how does that process happen? How are you getting these autographs? Because I know, how much media obligations these guys have before a fight. They're in their own zone. They're in their own routine. Is this something where your team takes it out to their camps? Do you just send stuff out? And then to get the memorabilia, do you have a representative Tops collecting gloves or shorts at the events? How does that process take place?
Sure. We have a great licensing team here that has, luckily when we got the UFC business, they were already up and running with our baseball and football business, had this well under control. But what we'll do is we'll reach out to the fighter or to their representation, tell them that we want to do an autograph and memorabilia deal with them. We'll arrange a signing time. We'll arrange. We'll come to terms with the figures and how many autographs we need and what sort of memorabilia they'll provide to us. we'll meet them. You know, a Topps representative will go out and meet them. We have reps across the nation, Canada, worldwide, that'll go out, meet the fighter where it's most convenient for them. It could be at their house. It could be at a hotel when they're in Vegas for a fight. It could be at their gym. We'll have them sit down and sign what we need, collect the pieces of gear that they've worn or used. You know, we'll grab shirts, shorts, gloves, mouth guards, pretty much anything that they use, whether they're training or fighting, and then bring that back, have it shipped back to us. We'll take inventory on it and then start cutting it up and putting it into cards.
Derek, if you want to see some really cool and interesting, photos, follow Jeremy on Twitter, because he's always putting stuff up when the guys contact you to come to your office. It's not they have to send it to the guys. The guys are like, hey, I'm in Minnesota. Can I stop by, even though they're in, New York? Can I stop by and get into the office? Talk about that.
Yeah, well, we're actually having Sarah McMahon in tomorrow. She's in town and is going to stop by. And, she's one of the new fighters that is featured in Knockout. She's excited. It's the first time she'll have her card and her autograph in product. We're excited to be partnered with her for sure. And, so she's going to come in. We're going to open up some packs and just kind of talk about MMA and trading cards. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll be tweeting out pictures both from my Twitter account and at Topps Cards, maybe some video, and see what happens from there.
We are talking to Jeremy Fullerton from Topps. We do have a couple packs that we will be giving away. Jeremy, let me ask you this as I'm looking, on the website and stuff. It's so limited. Do you guys give out, or is it like Dana where, they don't give out pay-per-view numbers? Do you guys not say how many cards are made on each run and in each series?
We don't give out full, production numbers. The limited cards are, printed to those stated quantities. So if it says, 1 of 36 or 1 of 299, you can be assured that that's the total of those cards produced. But we don't give out print runs of our products in total. Just never have. Who
are the newbies of this series? There are a lot of guys. Anderson Silva. I'm looking at his card. He's been in the series. Who are some of the new the new cards that we want to go out and chase because it's their first time?
Sure. As far as just their rookie cards or their debut cards, as we're calling them, we got Gunnar Nelson, Hector Lombard, Jimmy Manua. I'm just scrolling through the checklist right now. Ryan Jimmo, Tom Watson, Sarah McMahon. As far as first-time signers, that's what a lot of people really like to collect, the first autograph cards that we put out. So we have Gustafsson, Brian Caraway, Fabricio Verdum, Sarah McMahon, Glover Teixeira, Henan Barral. Really great list of names. Tim Boach, Vinny Magales. We're always going after, the next wave of fighters to come on board, to really stake their claim in the UFC. And also trying to get some of those fighters that have just been elusive to us in the past. As we become more familiar with the MMA landscape and their agents, we're able to contact some guys that have been a little bit more difficult to get our hands on.
Jeremy, every time you're on, I always say, how do you top it? A great product. How do you, as I'm searching, from the email that you sent me, memorable matchup cards, guys. Cards signed by Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
So it's the most heated hatred of all time. The picture of the autographs, how did you pull that one off?
Well, we didn't have to have them in the same room, so that was good.
That always helps.
So it was, the hard part really was picking out, which matchups do we feature this time and which ones will have to wait for a later time. So, but Anderson Sonnen really had to be there for sure. Plus we have Lesnar Mir, some really great matchups.
Lesnar Mir as well. So
I wouldn't be surprised if guys were signing over each other's face. Like the first guy signing I'm writing over his face with my autograph.
Well, it's not done. You know, there's two little strips. But the thing that I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, and really on both of these, because the rivalry, I was there with Frank after the Brock fight. We all know Anderson and Chael. Is it kind of like baseball where, you know, certain guys won't sign a ball after, you know, somebody else? So who signed these first, Chael or Anderson?
You know, with those, we use the sticker autographs. Some of them are signed directly on card. Others, we have the top certified autograph stickers that we'll place onto the card. So for those, we use the sticker autographs. So we wouldn't run into issues like that.
I gotcha. Because, you know, we all know, I know certain players, it's like, if that guy's on the ball, I won't sign it. You know, if I've already seen his autograph.
It's nasty.
Yeah. And how about the Dana White? How happy was he to sign these?
Dana's been a great partner. You know, he really likes the cards. You know, we'll send you know, a bunch of boxes out to the Zuffa offices, and we'll regularly get emails and calls thanking us for another great product. So Dana is always excited to help us out with this.
All right, the question I ask you every single time you're on, and I know it's 480. How many cards are in this series?
The base set is, I believe it's 125 cards. You got to forgive me. I'm planning for Knockout next year already. Yes,
no, that's fine. And really, Jeremy, it really wasn't important, the number. I was going to, you know, do my typical. There's 125 cards. I know they're all like your children. You have 125 children. Which card are you the most proudest of?
From this set?
Yeah.
Lots of cards.
All right, top three.
Yeah, I love all the triple threads cards, you know, with the big die cuts with all the relics. So, you know, we got one that Nick Diaz says, "Don't be scared," is carved out in the die cut. So I think that a lot of people got a kick out of that one.
I'm looking at the Strike Force champs. That's pretty cool. The UFC 147. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Anything
those glove cards too. Those are great too. You know, I keep scrolling through and I see new cards and the fistographs. You're not going to see a cooler card than the fistograph.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one as we speak. Before I let you go, you're already working on next year's. Anything that you can kind of slip out or release?
You know, it's still very early in the concept, building. What I can say is we will have something exclusive for the Fan Expo. So for the listeners heading out to Vegas for that, be sure to to walk over to our booth and take a look at what we've got going there.
And hopefully we'll do as we have done at every single UFC Fan Expo, and we'll have you on and we'll do some of those things as well.
For sure.
Awesome. Jeremy, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks. Have a great
855-483-6646.
I am Salties.
Can you imagine Salties? Imagine a place that becomes something absolutely unforgettable.
Sustainable seafood from icy waters of the Pacific Northwest.
Salties is sweet coconut-crusted prawns.
Salties is live Dungeness crab.
The finest USDA prime steak.
With perfectly paired wine.
Your life is our celebration.
Your table is waiting at Salties.
Go to Salties.com and make your reservation today. Salties, Alki Beach, Redondo Beach, and Columbia River.
All right, the thing about Salties is we're almost ready to announce the Friday night and Sunday afternoon deals that we're going to do at Salties. We'll broadcast live talking sports from Salties on Friday. We're putting together a pretty cool buffet. Not we're putting it together. They already have it.
They're putting it together. You're just consuming.
You will be destroying it.
Oh, I certainly can't wait. But we're Nems and I are working on doing something really funny, keeping in mind Eve Edwards is fighting on this card. We all know that Eve likes to do, eat Dunkin' Donuts, eat Snickers bars. So let's wait and see what Eve Edwards is going to be eating just before, on, or just after the scale. In response to Eric just tweeted, when will we see Topps cards featured on Fighter Shorts? I think that's been going on for a while now.
Every now and again I see him.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's been going on for a couple years. Certain guys that they do sponsor. So, I've seen their logos.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I remember.
No, I definitely seen their. Yeah, I don't know if it's specific guys or how they do it, but that's pretty cool. You get a little something in every pack. Pretty cool shit.
And again, as a collector, it's kind of like the search thing. Like I've always told you, I enjoy the search. It's not so much what I'm getting, what I'm searching for, when every pack you're going to open is something cool.
Yeah.
The cards are cool to begin with, but then, there's the relic, the autographs, so as a collector who is going to be chasing these things, it's definitely going to be pretty cool. All right, another fight that was just announced. I don't know if you guys caught it. Brown versus Overeem.
Yeah, on the Fox 1 card, huh?
Fox, they're trying to load up Boston.
Mm-hmm. That's I like that fight. I like that fight a lot. Both guys, need the win. And they're going to be throwing. It's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a fun fight, kind of like the Roy Nelson fight that was just announced.
I feel bad for Palele.
I feel bad that Hunt got his visa.
Because you wanted to see
I did.
See Hunt and Roy?
No, I wanted to see Roy and JDS.
Yeah.
Roy and JDS.
He would have slipped in there,
He would have slipped in, and it's kind of like the Vanderlei. I would pay to watch Roy Nelson fight every day. I believe, and we've talked about it, there is a little too much MMA. You kind of get,
For who?
I would watch Roy Nelson every day. I wouldn't watch every fighter every day.
Right.
I would watch Roy Nelson at 7 a.m, at 4 a.m. I will wake up at 3:30 to watch Roy Nelson fight.
You're already going
every
to
day.
be up.
Yeah, you're still up at 3:30.
Well, that's true.
No. Roy wins this? Are we talking title shot?
He's got to be close.
I mean, why else? What else entices him to take a fight on short notice?
You mean
this?
The JDS fight?
No, I'm talking. I'm talking
no,
this
Nelson.
the Nelson fight.
This does not. I don't see this doing anything for him.
Yeah, I don't think it helps Roy at all.
He took it because they probably had to sweeten the deal to say, "Hey, we want you to fight Miocic now because we need to have somebody with a name in there."
Well, but they sweeten the pot. How? How did they sweeten the pot? Money, Roy. I mean,
it would have to be money because this
and the title shot. Say, hey, you win this one. Now you're right in line.
I don't think that justifies. This fight justifies title shot
because I don't think. I mean, they haven't said the Hunt JDS winner gets the winner of the Cain fight. I think that's kind of how they want to set it up.
No, JDS I think does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think JDS he wins this fight. Gets it the title shot. I don't think they've said it. Mark Hunt does.
Okay, one, but not necessarily
right.
The other.
Well, and again, that seems to to be the MO.
Mm-hmm.
On a lot of guys, he gets by this, he's in. If he doesn't,
maybe not.
Yeah. So
that sucks.
In your rankings, this is a 1 versus 9 matchup.
What's that? The Hunt JDS?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and
I think
it
so.
Is.
I think so.
Talking about Roy Nelson 5 and an unranked.
Right. That's why. How do you not love Mark Hunt's going to make it? That's great for Mark Hunt. He's fixed his career. The great things for him. But how wouldn't you have loved a 1 versus 5? Roy versus JDS. Hey.
And the first time they went at it, I mean, Jesus, it was Roy was getting hit with everything and stayed on his feet. I don't know how.
There's something to be said for that.
That he could take all his shots. Yeah. I don't know. I like the heavyweight division right now. A lot of good fights. A couple of years ago, that thing was dead. And now here we're talking a lot of guys getting moved around, and the Hulk got bumped. Like you said, that's a tough break. He's been busting his ass,
for a while.
For a while, he finally gets his call up, gets a good sized fight, and now he's back on the waiting block. I wonder how that talk went down.
But again, we know how Dana has stepped up. You miss a fight, a guy doesn't this, he takes care of everybody. I'm sure it's taken care of. We're going to do this, or he still gets paid. Or I have never heard of fighters being upset when things like this have happened.
Yeah.
So another thing that happened, Josh Barnett returns.
Are you happy about that?
I was about to say, I want your take on this.
I'm not overly happy. I'm not overly impressed. Josh Barnett's an okay fighter. I don't think he's, top. Well, he's definitely not top 5. You've got
Is he top 10.
He's an okay fighter when he's not using banned substances.
Who's 9 and 10? Who's 8, 9, and 10? You just had the rankings up.
I did 1 second.
All right. Because, again, he's definitely not top 5, but I'd have to remember who's 8, 9, and 10.
In your rankings.
In mine.
8 is Nogueira, 9 Hunt, 10 Travis Brown.
See, I mean,
I think he's in that group. He could be in that group just, for the first fight.
I know people are really,
I'm not
really excited about this. And, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, exactly.
When the division was down and he was younger.
Nothing. Fedor signs tonight. Are you excited?
Do you need to ask?
No, and that's what I'm saying. To me, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't get this. I don't know why they pursued him. After they initially tried to get him. I guess, do they need the bodies that bad in that division? I feel like
I don't think they need the bodies in any division.
I know. They're talking about cutting guys. We're still looking to cut guys. We're still looking to cut guys.
That's the thing. They've said that now a couple times.
Yeah.
But how much have we really seen it? We've seen a couple handfuls, but they said 100, right? And that was at least the number that was initially out.
Well, I don't think they ever put a real number on it. They did that big sweep.
Yeah.
And a couple here and there, but not, it wasn't like another big sweep of names, and they just said we need to get rid of guys. We need to get rid of guys is what they brought up because they were going to bring in the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And they always talk kind of like they have a formula, X amount of fights a year, X amount of fighters, to have on the payroll. So this one surprised me because I'm sure he didn't come cheap. He's not showing up for the minimum contract. Barnett isn't. He already turned him down on one deal. So it's an interesting. I mean, who do you put him in there with?
12, 13, somebody in that.
But you got to put him on like a main card, right?
Well, unless you're going to use them for a Europe card.
I mean, and everyone talks about, they love how he cuts promos and stuff. Like they're really not good. Like, I don't know, his shtick, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't get the Josh Barnett thing.
But his thing is chael. His thing is, the same kind of thing as that. So interesting. I want to be an equal opportunist. Matt Riddle signs with Bellator.
Joy.
All right, just thought I would throw that out.
Heard an interview with him the other day. Still sounded high.
I was going to say we heard an interview with him right here on Knockout Radio.
Yeah, before the cut, sounded high.
Well, and I think it's a good spot for him considering what Ben Askren said. 2 weeks ago, that for whatever reason Bellator guys just don't get tested all that much.
Yeah, perfect.
Might be a really good spot for him. That's why he left. That's why he left Legacy.
But was he talking about steroids, or was he talking about the
doesn't matter
wacky tobacco?
Did he even
No
fight
test.
for Legacy? Did he even?
No,
did
he
even
signed.
have a fight? I know he signed, but did he even have a fight under that banner?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's a talented kid. I think we can all agree on that. He's a talented kid. I want to see how he does in the tournament format. I think that he's a pretty good signing for a Bellator kind of setup. He's still young. He still has a lot of upside. I kind of felt like that when they signed Ben Killer B.
Saunders.
Ben Saunders, yeah. I feel like that was kind of the same signing. He did build a little name in the UFC. He was still maybe a little green, but he's really come onto his own. And when he's done that, it's been under the Bellator banner. I see a very similar path for Matt Riddle.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they were at the same time kind of the same, but Riddle does have some form of name that they'll be able to play off of. There's definitely no doubt. Give me your thoughts on KJ Noons and his comments.
Tell me what his comments were. I don't keep up with KJ Noons.
Well, I don't either, but I found the statement funny. Now, if you were to say this about most fighters, I may agree. But KJ Noons has an upcoming fight with some guy by the name of Cowboy. Maybe you've heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
KJ Noons says Cowboy won't stand with him. Do you think he's saying it just to start stuff, to get stuff riled?
Yeah. I mean, he can't really think that.
Well, I guess it would kind of be like fighters who think they're going to win fights or fighters that think they're going to have a title shot. I guess you can think anything you want.
I mean, Cowboy isn't going to wrestle him. KJ thinks his hands are untouchable. And I disagree. I mean, I know he has the boxing background, but I'm not a big KJ Noons fan. I don't think he's all that great. When is that fight?
That's
Saturday.
This weekend.
Is that Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to end well for him.
and Cowboy's one of those guys I enjoy watching as well.
Oh yeah,
because he brings it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to back up. He's going to come forward. You're going to rock him like Melvin did, and still bad things are going to happen to you.
Yeah. No, I like Cerrone in that fight.
Opening fight on the pay-per-view.
Curtain jerker.
That's jerking the curtain. Who else we got on this card Saturday night?
Gray Maynard, TJ Grant.
For a title shot.
Yes.
Right. I wanted really?
Yeah.
A title shot. When was the last time Gray fought?
Clay?
I mean,
No, it couldn't have been Clay.
It's been
against Clay?
It's been a year. I don't know how he gets
Clay Guida.
Yeah, really? I don't know how he gets that title shot right off the gate. I don't know. I always feel like he's a hard luck guy just because of those
rankings.
That Edgar trilogy. I feel like really kind of did him in. He was winning both the fights. The draw and his loss.
Gray Maynard 3, TJ Grant 5.
Well,
so who's 1-2?
Melendez 1, Pettis 2.
All right, so that's why Melendez just had the fight.
Pettis is dropping down.
Is a little busy, and so I can understand that. Who's locked in between?
Josh Thompson.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think Thompson is going to get a title shot.
He's going to get one soon. I feel like his next fight he'll be right in line.
Rest of the card, move me up.
Glover Teixeira, James Tahuna.
Give me your thoughts on that, because everybody loves Teixeira, yet when I jumped online and I saw people's picks, they're picking him to lose. Yeah.
I'll tell you this, someone's going to bed.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if that thing goes anywhere on the ground. If either guy's back is on the ground, without the ref waving it off, I'd be shocked. And I think everyone's kind of expecting those fireworks. That one should just be a throwback brawl.
Just like the next one, which is?
Yeah, look at this card. I mean,
Impressive.
it
Dos
is.
Santos, Mark Hunt will be your co-main event.
Right. That's going to be a jiu-jitsu classic.
Yes, it will.
A grappling lesson 101.
Yeah.
And then the main event is Cain Bigfoot, right?
Yes, it is.
Jesus. This might be a quick night. That pay-per-view might turn on at 10 o'clock Eastern, and we might be at that main event about 11:15.
Well, which will be good for the undercard guys because they'll get on TV.
Right. I mean, they'll stretch it out, but holy cow.
Obviously, had things to do last week. We had to address Nick Newell and the XFC. Any thoughts on from you on that?
No,
not that I necessarily want to go back in time and/or talk about them, but I still think it's a subject that's interesting. And I always love when an owner says, "Well, you wouldn't have won the fight anyway,"
that's not a place for the owner. That's one thing that I really. What separates a class program, a class outfit versus a minor league outfit. Dana doesn't talk about, who's going to win, who's not going to win. He's there to promote. He's there to put asses in seats and put on the best fights possible. You get some of these minor league owners who think they really run everything, and you don't. Like, who are you to say you weren't going to win anyway? Why do you even care? All you should care about is getting two cleared athletes, in the ring.
Which is what we talked about
and sell
with the
tickets.
TRT earlier.
Yeah.
So some of the undercard on this Saturday show, unless you already shut it down.
I got it right here. The main event on FX is Mike Pyle, Rick Story.
Okay. Rick Story getting back in the mix.
We had Colton Smith on last week. He was fighting Robert Whitaker.
And that's on the FX card?
That is. Dennis Bermudez, Max Holloway.
Man, this is a good card.
It really is. It really is.
These assholes are making me tune in at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Oh, no.
I know. Listen, I'm fine with it. It's the wife that I have to hear,
How about Brian Bowles on the Facebook?
Right, he's dropped the ways, huh?
Yeah, and he's still ranked 7, I think.
These are three names.
Former WEC champion.
Jeremy Stevens, Brian Bowles, Stephen Thompson. All on the Facebook card.
Wow.
They're going to make me fire up the computer.
All right, we'll continue talking about it. I haven't given out the numbers in a while, but Liddell on the line from Cocoa Beach.
Hello. Hey, guys. How you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
What's up, Liddell? You shot out of a cannon. I wish I had whatever you're drinking.
No, I'm just always like that, man. Hey, listen, the last time I talked to you guys, I actually called in. I'm a bit of a gambler, and it was back when Nathan Diaz was fighting old Josh Thompson, and I did a parlay on Henderson and Nathan, and man, I ended up losing thanks to Thompson's upset, if you will. So with this weekend, the fights that I'm looking and eyeballing are going to be I like Glover. I'm hoping he's not too much of a favorite. Obviously, he'll be a favorite. But the other one is I'm really torn between the Hunt and JDS fight. But hey, before I get you guys' comments, I have a real quick question. I just came across a little bit of money, and not from gambling, by the way. But anyways, I was wondering, is there any good local fights that you guys would recommend going to coming up in the Florida area?
Doesn't Josh Saman have one this weekend?
Josh Saman's running one this weekend, but in Orlando, the W. What's the one here in Tampa?
The WCFL is the 29th of June.
29th of June. That's a great outfit. That's a great promotion. I definitely check them out. The Orlando one, and then was CFA? Is that this week?
That's this weekend.
Fallon Fox. Yeah. That big fight is down in Miami this weekend. So go spend that new money on MMA on live MMA. Definitely.
Hey, did I hear you guys also say you guys are on Fridays now as well?
Well, Wags and I do an all-sports show on Friday, every Friday at 2:00.
How do I listen to that, buddy?
Same website, knockoutradio.com.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again for taking my call. I always appreciate talking to you guys, and I love listening.
I appreciate the call.
Appreciate it.
Mentioned, who does he like, or who would you put the money on?
JDS.
I do. I would.
I think I know Hunt is riding a bit of a streak here, but JDS isn't going to stand and bang. He's a good boxer, which means movement, which means he's going to get in and out.
One thing, though, in JDS's fight against Cain rocked him early. He hit him really hard and messed him up for the entire rest of the 5 rounds. So you have to watch. Mark Hunt has that power. He could do something.
There's
like
no
that.
doubt about. I mean, you're in the heavyweight division, and
Sure.
you have his
Anybody,
power.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a.
How much do you guys buy into the fact that Dos Santos was going through the mental stuff? He had some problems.
No, he had a problem in mentally.
It was called Cain's
when Cain rocked him. Yeah,
his brain jiggled on his
Well, but
skull.
think about it and what happened today in the golf world. And Sergio saying how he thought about what he did every time that he played today. Every time he took a shot, he was thinking about that. So do you give any of credence to Dos Santos saying that
you're
back
saying
then?
Sergio was complaining about something?
Well, he doesn't do it often. No, he wasn't complaining. He was just saying he was thinking about the the stupid words that he said and what he said, and it kind of affected his. So no,
bullshit.
You can block it out.
Yeah, I would hope so. You're a championship level fighter. You have Cain Velasquez across the ring ready to knock your head off. I mean, what more motivation do you need? I mean, that sounds like a bunch of excuses.
I'm just asking,
and I'm just telling that no, I don't give any credit to that. I think where he was wrong mentally was when he got hit, and mentally he was rocked.
He was gone.
Yeah.
All right. So Liddell, put your money, according to Derek, on JDS.
I would. I mean, if that was the combo he was looking to tie together.
I believe last time he called in when he was asking about the Nate Diaz.
I believe I told him Josh Thompson.
You said Josh Thompson.
Yeah.
And
so I want a cut of that new money.
Yeah, but he didn't get it because he didn't go with him.
He didn't go.
No, he just said he came into some money.
Right.
That's the money I want. I want a piece of that action.
Main event, co-main event. Which underdog has a better chance of winning the fight?
I say
Hunt
Mark
or
Hunt.
Bigfoot?
Mark Hunt.
I say Bigfoot.
I don't think Bigfoot has a shot.
No. Here's why I say Bigfoot.
No.
Here's why I say Bigfoot. And I don't. I just think JDS is winning that fight. I do think Cain is winning the main event. When you have a man the size of Bigfoot, it's like all bets are. I mean, that is the great equalizer to me. You know, he got rocked early on and cut bad in their first fight and just never recovered. I mean, that Cain was shot out of a cannon, and I felt like that was like a once in a lifetime performance. But when Bigfoot starts leaning on guys, and it starts, that's a lot of mass to handle. Cain was lucky and did a good job of getting Bigfoot on his back in their first fight and was able to control it there. But you're standing up, you're starting over, and if Bigfoot gets on you, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
That's a big man.
One thing I want to say about that though is who did Cain win the belt from first? Brock Lesnar, big guy.
Different size though. Bigfoot's a tall, big man.
Hold on, you're comparing two different really freakish tattoos.
and I mean, but you have to look too on the ground. Bigfoot's very good.
Let's jump to the phone lines. We're up to what Ultimate Fighter? What season is this? 29, 36.
I lost
86.
86. Let's go all the way back to the very beginning.
Roll it out.
On the phone with us right now. He's been in studio with us before. We just thought it would be time to check in with Josh Rafferty. Josh, how are you?
Great, guys. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. We just thought we'd reach out and see how life's going. I was going to ask you some, questions about what happened last week and that kind of stuff. But first and foremost, what's going on?
Nothing much new, man. Just still training guys. Been doing a fight program at a Powerhouse Gym in downtown Tampa currently right now. And that's about it. Just working on my personal training business and training guys here and there. Nothing too serious.
Have you got any fighters in the local amateur card yet, or are you just doing the pro stuff?
I did. We had a group of guys. I had 3 really good amateurs, good guys, 255ers and 70. But after we shut the gym down, I kind of lost track with those guys. I haven't really seen them. So basically, I've just been working with the pros lately.
And will they be in the local, the RFC stuff, or are you going to get them up into Josh Saman's events, or kind of what are your thoughts?
I'd like to keep them local. I think it's smart when you get guys that just start off to try to get them, keep them local. For what it does, it's good for their friends and family in the gym, support them, as well as to get the community behind them. I mean, that's where you're going to get a lot of your support, especially later on down the road when you're trying to turn pro. You're going to get a lot of sponsors, mostly from local guys. So
sure.
I like to keep guys, close to home.
What were your thoughts on last weekend's UFC card? I'm sure you watched.
Yes, I did. I actually did. I was lucky enough to spend time with my boxing coach, Rob Radford, so he was in town. So we got to watch it together, and I was pretty impressed. I thought Belfort looked great. I thought Dunham got robbed.
Rob's in town?
But, he was. Yeah, he was. He was for 3 days.
I got you. Who did you say got robbed?
I thought that Dunham got robbed.
Derek, thoughts?
I always say if it's a close fight, you can't have a robbery. I thought it was a close fight. I thought it could go either way.
I thought Dunham won.
It's just yeah. Did he do hands down? You felt like he won?
I thought yes, he won hands down. But I learned from Derek, Josh, that when it's a close fight, robbery. Because I used to say that all the time. He got robbed. If it's a close fight, the thing that drives me crazy, and as a fighter, please respond to this. I hate when fans say home cooking. He got home judging, even though the judges were not from Brazil.
Right. I was going to say half the judges are not even probably from there.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure they really use any because they fly them all in, and most of them come from here. So, as a fighter, did you ever think that kind of stuff?
No, I never really worried about it too much. I've seen other people. To me, I already had enough problems going on in my head. I was fighting enough nerves and other stuff. I never really worried about judges or anything. You always want to try to just go out there and implement your game plan in the quick, and hopefully you don't have to put it in the hands. Because you guys can all agree with me. There's been countless fights where I'm just like, what fight were they watching? And
some of the
fights I think are close, I don't think they're that close.
Are you surprised on how far the Ultimate Fighter, the Tough Series, has come since you were on it?
Oh yeah, I remember us talking and joking around like, who's going to watch this stuff? Who's going to want to watch us sitting around talking to each other? But I just think it was all about timing. It was a great way to introduce the sport, a great way to introduce the casual fan, what's going on in these guys' heads, what their life is really like, and I love it. I think it's great that they're branching out and doing them all over the place, and it's just good exposure for the sport. It wouldn't hurt, I think, to maybe, mix up the show a little bit, like what they're doing now. I think it's a good idea, but, you got to keep it fresh. But the original concept, you can't argue with it. It's produced a lot of great athletes, and it made mixed martial arts what it is today, there's no doubt.
I get a big kick every time I go and I see the Ultimate Fighter, one poster, and, all the guys that, are on that poster and what, where they went and what they did and all that kind of stuff. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and I like to feel that there was a special group of guys. You look talent-wise, everybody was, top to bottom on that show. There was a lot of good guys. A lot of them fought for the title, and not just in fighting, other walks of life, everybody's doing really well. Like Alex Schonauer, he was Vin Diesel's bodyguard for a while. He did all the stunt driving on Fast and Furious. These guys are all going out and doing a lot of cool stuff. So it's good, man. It's good. It's a good little thing we have here.
We are on the line with Josh Rafferty, and I'm not a big fan of asking one person about somebody else, so I'm going to break my own rule because I know you do a lot with Dave Bautista. I know he's in Europe doing some things. Update us on what Big Dave's doing.
He's right now. Dave is just full blown movie career right now. I know he was toying with the idea of maybe wrestling again, or perhaps maybe even taking another MMA fight. He had some big offers in Japan. But right now, he got that Marvel Comics movie, and when you get those big, $1 billion movie studios put money into you, that's pretty much all you're going to do. They don't want to do anything else. So right now, he's just kind of focused on that, and he has 6 months of filming coming up, so he's going to be on the grind.
I thought it was funny. I saw his Twitter the other day when I guess Paul Heyman did something. He brought out a new guy or whatever, and a lot of people thought that it was going to be Dave.
Yeah. He's always number one on the rumor mill as far as like pro wrestling goes. I mean, people were kind of anxiously waiting for him to come back. Because a lot of guys do that. They take a break, get burned out because that's such a tough schedule what those guys go through. If you don't realize it's 4 or 5 days a week, and then if you're a top guy like Dave, I mean, there's times where he was only home 3 days a month. So that just kind of wears on you. But he's happy right now, and he's doing real well with movies, and everything he does, he's really smart, makes good moves. So I would assume we probably wouldn't see him in the wrestling ring for a while.
I think Dave's doing all right. How can people get in touch with you if they're in the Tampa Bay area or they want to come down and train with you?
You can just call Powerhouse Gym downtown Tampa, and they have all my information there. Or you can reach me on Twitter at Josh Rafferty. I respond to all the training questions.
Easy enough. We might have to start like some kind of training segment or something.
Uh-oh.
Live training segment with Josh.
For you, not me.
We'll have to work on that. Josh, thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That is Josh Rafferty, your season 1.
Yeah, that is crazy. When you do look at that poster, some of the guys who've put on a lot of fights, and I mean, what a lightning in a bottle that show was. And Dana's credited, that show to really keeping it alive. That was an all or nothing. Either we hit a home run or we're going home, gang. And they hit a home run.
Well, yeah, they were ready to shut it down.
Yeah.
They were ready to call it a day and move on. So it's been interesting. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. I know, again, with you not being here last week and not to go back in time, but any thoughts on Nate Diaz, his comment? And according to, I guess, his manager, he still stands by the statement.
I mean,
is it any different than Sergio's today?
It's bad advice that those guys are getting. I'm not shocked. You just can't do that. You just can't. I mean, you can't drop an FAG on Twitter and not apologize, and then to defend it like, no, in Stockton that just means bitch. Well, no, there's not a different language in Stockton, California. There might be slang terms, but that it is what it is.
I will say this: we had Mick Ferrari on, and we should have put him on. We didn't do the night show, right? We just did the day show with him, where we did our Queer Eye for the Sports Guy, and Mick, comes on and talks about stuff. I didn't realize that word is like the worst word.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't know, and you could sense. Wags, I think we talked about it. Mm-hmm. He never knows when we bring him on. It's purposely set that way. I don't, because I even said, do you want me to tell you? Because this is going to be out there. And he's like, nope, let's do it free. You could hear it in his voice, how upset he was. And this guy doesn't get upset about anything. He signs off being from Queerwater. So, he takes it all in stride, and it hit him as hard as it did. I didn't realize that's and he said it's the most vile word that you could say. I didn't realize that. Yeah. But Nate Diaz, still stands by that.
Right. He had his lawyer or whatever try to justify it and say, like, no, it doesn't mean, that word doesn't mean anything.
It's a misunderstanding. And if people are uneducated, that's not his effing fault.
I mean, are you surprised?
Seriously?
Who's the uneducated one?
Right. Are you surprised with who you're dealing with?
No.
Who the parties involved are?
No.
Or the party involved is?
How long do you think suspension?
What'd they say? They said 90 days or something, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought it was 90.
So just in time for his next fight.
For his next fight, yeah.
Yeah, so
So it's not really a suspension.
That's why I go back to.
But what can they do?
But that's why I say you go back to where we started the show. If you're going to suspend Nate Diaz for saying that, and he's really not going to lose any time, just like suspending a starting pitcher for 3 days, do something to Vitor. Say something so that things like that won't continue. Throw it out there. We're going to suspend you for 5 weeks. The suspensions are stupid, and maybe one of these weeks we're going to talk about. I think if you're suspended, you shouldn't be able to train.
But how do you don't police a guy's
training?
Yeah,
how do you keep a guy
then what's a suspension? That's not doing anything.
Exactly. I mean, the only suspension that you say is, if you put him out long enough where he misses a fight. That's the only thing, because that's when they're getting paid.
Right. 6 months?
That's when they're getting paid. I know, and that seems extreme,
right?
But you say you miss a fight, but again, these things aren't cycled, where they're on a schedule. The UFC's trying to do the right thing, but there isn't a real winning formula that they can do.
Jeremy Fullerton will be sending us some Topps products. I don't know how many. I know it's very limited, so I'm going to wait until they are in our hands here at the studio before we give them away.
People are already asking for
them.
They're
already asking, and I don't blame them.
Right.
This is a sweet product, but until it's in my hands, in here on the table at the studio, we're going to wait. So, we'll push for that next week. Any final predictions or anything for this weekend, guys?
Like I said, short card.
It's going to be a good one.
Short card.
That's
lot of knockouts, a lot of TKO stops. It's going to be. I'm excited about this one.
Any one over other fights you're looking forward to?
I do want to see the main event. I mean, I'm interested in it because the matchup the last time was so one-sided, and I don't see it being that one-sided again. So I want to see how Cain reacts.
Does Cain go right at him?
Yeah, that's what Cain does. And I want to see him react if Bigfoot's able to weather that storm. If it goes beyond the first round, he's not bleeding all in his eyes. That was an extreme ending to that fight where I don't see it happening again. So I want to see how Cain reacts.
JDS and Hunt. I think that's going to be a great fight.
Hit us up on Twitter. At Knockout Radio.
At DCUCULICH.
Sean, KO Radio.
At KO Eggs.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tons of stuff to get to. Follow us on Twitter. Shoot us some information, who you'd like on the program. We'll get it done. We'll be back next week.